Numbers are showing that we're going to experience something way worse than the Great Recession. I mean, we're already seeing things that we haven't seen since the turn of the century. And that's already telling you a lot, isn't it?
7,948 Valley eviction filings in October. This, according to Maricopa County Justice Courts, it's the highest month since the turn of the century. And combined with August and September, it marks 3 consecutive months in 2023, making the top 5, joined by August and September of 2005. Year-to-date, Valley eviction filings are now the second highest, just behind, again, 2005, and within the range of 2005 to 2008, the years around the Great Recession. But as you can see with this chart, in some ways, this chart does explain these numbers this year. An eviction moratorium in the pandemic years of 2020 and 2021 kept eviction filings artificially low. A lot of what we are seeing this year is likely backlog from those years.
So yes, these pandemic years really kept those evictions down artificially. So it was basically propped up by these funds. And now that they're gone, well, you can clearly see what's happening. It's like what I've been saying for years now, and it's all coming to light, huh? Isn't that peculiar? It's not like I wanted bad things to happen to us, but it really didn't take me that long to figure out that the party is not going to be able to last forever. Not for everyone, especially with the narrative that they've decided to stick to, which leads me to now believe that we're just at the tip of the iceberg. In fact, we haven't even hit it yet, The boat's rocking, but trust me when I say that this ship is gonna hit a massive iceberg within 2024, and there's not gonna be a lot of people who will be prepared for that. Tell you what, let's see what the community has to say, all right? Do you think that we're headed for even worse times come 2024? Comment a quick yes or no down in the comments, and while you guys are at it, make sure you smash the like button, share this video to your friends, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all notifications so that you don't miss out on any of these important updates that truly matter to all of us. Totally appreciate it, you guys. Now, while it doesn't hurt to be positive about life, I mean, it's a good thing, right? A positive mindset usually leads to good things. But one thing that the government has tried time and time again is provide us with, how do I call them? Inflated numbers? I guess we can even call them exaggerated in some way. I'm refraining from calling them liars. Now, if you guys remember, the job numbers have been their one and only defense for more people accepting that we're in a recession. Heck, they even changed the definition, right? Remember when they kept pushing this on us?
Our job market remains historically strong.
President Biden trying to put a positive spin Thursday on gloomy economic numbers.
If you look at our job market, consumer spending, business investment, we see signs of economic progress in the second quarter as well.
Republicans were less rosy after GDP fell for a second straight quarter.
We're in a recession, and it's not the time to increase taxes or spending.
Now, for context, this is the middle of last year? And what's happened time and time again with the job numbers? They usually were announced strong, and then once the announcement died down, the numbers were revised downward. So what's the latest when it comes to the September numbers? They were at more than 300,000, if I remember correctly, but the latest revision shows that they missed that by 29,000 jobs. They've said this before, but they like doing this all the time, announcing numbers from thin air that are based on, I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know what they're based on because it's almost always wrong. Must be a Bidenomics glitch, huh? The October numbers though, man, they announced 150,000 jobs, more than half of what they initially reported for September. Now, that's saying a whole heck of a lot, guys, and pretty soon they're not going to have much to stand on when it comes to job numbers, as 51,000 of those 150,000 jobs were in the government. Do they plan on just adding hundreds of thousands of jobs there at the government just so that they can announce their shenanigans? Now, the worst part about all of this is that manufacturing, that one market that really actually helps the economy, employment there was decreased by 35,000 people or 35,000 workers in October.
What stood out to you in the numbers that we got?
Well, it's another rock solid American jobs report, right? Even if it did come in below consensus, I think that's a good thing. We did need to see jobs hiring slow. We saw 33,000 jobs adjusted for due to the auto worker strike. So the top line number actually understates the true pace and the overall scheme of things here. Look, right now, firms are having a much easier time attracting labor. We're not at that point where we can call this a red hot market. The trend is cooling. It's what we want to see. It's why bond yields are falling. It's why inflation is easing.
Now, granted, this is largely due to the auto strikes, but it's not like government workers are going to manufacture anything, right? Do government workers make anything? No, of course not. So they're not really helping the economy at all. I wonder what else they have up their sleeves to refute a recession, huh? Now, I also want you guys to realize that things are slowing down. And I mean, consumers are really going to be pulling back even with the holidays, and don't expect customers to be rushing out to the stores, as there's probably a lot of households that are going to be skipping some festivities for this year, even though more of them are now holding on to more than just one job.
'Tis the season to hire.
You are seeing, people with 2 or more jobs at the same time trying to make ends meet.
If you're looking for a side hustle, retailers like Target are looking for you. The retail giant wants to add 100,000 employees to its payroll this holiday season, but
Hiring in the part-time sector might be a little bit softer than last year.
Vane says shoppers may spend less this year, meaning less opportunities for extra cash.
It's going to be relatively flat here, maybe within 1% or 2 of what we had last year, instead of a whole gangbusters kind of optimism that I think some of us were hoping we would have.
Any of you guys expect it to actually be worse than this? The entire deal with workers and extra cash for the holidays reminds me of this one write-up that I came across recently that CEOs of the top 100 low-wage firms here in the country earns around $600 for every dollar that their worker earns. Now, just to kind of put that number into perspective, employees earned a median wage of around $31,672 last year, compared to the CEOs that took home an average of more than $15 million. And welcome to corporate America, I guess, huh? And since we're talking about all this money, I really want to share with you guys this update with Sam Bankman-Fried, probably one of the last few that we're going to see with this guy, as he's been found guilty of fraud.
This news is still very fresh. Do we know about what type of prison time he could face?
Well, the sentencing hasn't happened yet, but it could be for the rest of his life, Tom.
The financial crimes were that severe that this man could go to jail for the rest of his life?
Yes, they were for fraud. They were mismanaging so much money, using them for lavish expenses, and lying continuously. So there were multiple counts of fraud.
One of the key witnesses in this case, right, was his former girlfriend, and she ran the hedge fund arm of this cryptocurrency. And at one point, I know there was this exchange that was sort of very damaging for the defense, where she didn't even know where the money was coming from and how it was being moved around, correct?
Yes, that's true. So his defense attempted to say that I just looked at these spreadsheets, but I didn't look closely enough, that I just kind of checked some boxes. But the problem is Caroline Ellison testified that he masterminded everything. And the biggest loophole was why he hired her and paid her only $200,000. If he was going to hire someone spectacular to really take over all the finances, you would expect that person to be paid a lot and be very well qualified. But when you have Sam Bankman-Fried as the founder, hiring someone very low level, paying them a small amount of money, and then claiming that he's not the mastermind, that's a contradiction I'm assuming the jury couldn't get around.
He stands to stay in prison for more than a century. And well, the question on a lot of people's minds is, will he actually serve time? Or will he be on house arrest or some kind of sweetheart deal? Let me know what you guys think down below. And before I go, I want to thank you guys so much. I appreciate all of you. Keep safe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.